Okay, I think we're ready to get started. So just a couple housekeeping things before we get into it. This webinar is being recorded and it'll be available likely tomorrow or later this week on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/ringpartner, as well as it will be on our blog at ringpartner.com/blog. We are going to be doing a Q&A at the end of the webinar, so feel free to ask your questions as we go, and we'll try to address those at the end of the webinar, or we might address them throughout. Today we have David Ford here with from AffPlayBook. He's the owner of the AffPlayBook forum. He's an experienced marketer, and he's experienced in PPV, and he's going to share some of his knowledge with us today and show us the opportunity that is PPV marketing and how that might apply to your marketing and your campaigns. So I'm really excited to have him here, and I'm excited to learn more about PPV myself. And just so you know, this is Mike Williams. I'm the VP of Marketing and Operations here at RingPartner. So I look after all of the marketing and make sure that things flow here at RingPartner, and just making sure that advertisers and publishers are happy with the calls we're sending, and that everybody's making money. But with that, I will hand things over to David and let him take control and show you the world of PPV.
All right, thanks. Okay, let me show my screen here. Okay, can you guys see that okay?
Yeah, I can see it. So.
Okay, cool. All right, so yeah, like Mike said, my name is David Ford. I'm the owner of the AffPlayBook forum. I started that back in 2009. It was actually called PPV Playbook back then. What happened is I wrote an ebook about PPV marketing, and that was it. PPV marketing was around definitely before 2009, but that was when it started really getting popular and people were talking about it. So I wrote an ebook that was really successful, and then I started the PPV Playbook forum. It was just focused on PPV for a while, and then we eventually started adding more traffic sources, and I did the rebranding to AffPlayBook because now we kind of cover everything. So in this webinar, I was just going to give you guys an overview of PPV and also some specific stuff about what's working really good for it right now, and kind of what I'm doing. So I'm just going to go through this real quick, but if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. PPV marketing, what and why? So PPV stands for pay-per-view. It's also referred to as CPV, cost per view, and it's basically pop-up or pop-under ads. So what happens is, I'm sure you guys have seen, you're browsing around and you visit certain sites or whatever, and you get a pop-up or a pop-under, which means the ad pops up under your browser window. So that's basically what it is. It's served through user-installed adware like toolbars. So for example, Traffic Dance, which is PPV traffic network, they have all the companies have different toolbars and installs. Traffic Vance's big one is Game Vance. So people that have downloaded and installed that get served ads through that. The way that it works basically is that you bid on domains or keywords. So let's say I was promoting a skincare offer, and it's a trial offer, pays out $35 or whatever. I would bid on skincare related domains or keywords, and then when a user that has the adware installed on their browser visits a domain that I'm bidding on, my ad will pop up. So I'll get into that a little bit more specifically later. One thing that is really important to keep in mind through all this is that PPV is interruption marketing. So what I mean by that is you're interrupting people's normal browsing behavior. If you take something like, say, Google AdWords on search. So people going to Google AdWords and typing something in are actively looking for something. So someone goes to Google and types in skincare, they're actually looking for ads to click on. with PPV or other forms of interruption marketing, they're not specifically looking for that always. The argument could be made that, well, they're browsing skincare sites, so yeah, they're kind of searching for it. And that's true, but they're not actively searching for an ad to click on. So you have to think about that you're disrupting people's normal browsing behavior, and that's going to be important. I'll talk about that more when I get to targeting. PPV marketing has some real benefits. It's really easy to get started, and it's what I often recommend for people that are new to the industry to get into. There are very few restrictions with it. There are certain stuff that you can't promote. Usually the main things you can't promote are going to be like any kind of download or software installation. The reason is because the companies just don't want that messing with their adware, right? So, they don't want anything that could potentially cause the user's browser to not serve their ads. And there's some other restrictions too, but for the most part, it's really easy. There's no quality score or anything like with Google AdWords. There's good traffic volume in multiple countries, and it's relatively easy to run and optimize a PPV campaign. Of course, not easy to, make millions of dollars or anything. I'm not saying that, but it has less moving parts than other traffic sources. It's really simple, just, traffic to either landing page or direct link, and then you're just optimizing your target list, and that's pretty much about it. You can get more complicated, obviously, with different funnels and conversion paths and collecting opt-ins, but it's a really easy way to get started with marketing. It also gives you a lot of views. There's a lot of PPV traffic out there, and it's relatively inexpensive, so you can get a lot of views and kind of play around with traffic, and it's easier to optimize campaigns when you have more views and more traffic as opposed to something that's getting like 2 or 3 clicks a day. So niches that work on PPV traffic, these are some of my favorite. I will say though that I've seen almost anything work with PPV traffic. I don't really know of anything that I would say absolutely does not work, but the harder things to convert are going to be things like physical products that sell. So if you're promoting something like, I don't know, say a TV or desk or something like that. Those can work, but it's usually a little bit harder to convert, and that goes back to the whole thing with interruption marketing. So if I'm looking to actually purchase something like, say, a new computer desk, chances are that I'm going to go specifically looking and searching for it and researching them. And it's going to take a while before I make that kind of purchase. So if I'm getting interrupted with these desk ads, I'm probably not ready to whip out my credit card or anything like that. On the flip side of that, though, lead gen offers are a really good place to start. What I mean by lead gen is just things that people fill out a form. Like car insurance is a really good example. So you've probably seen car insurance offers where the offer page has just a few fields that you have to fill out, like name, email address, stuff like that, and then you get paid out $10 or $12 or whatever for that lead. Those work really well with PPV traffic because it's a really easy thing for the user to do. All they have to do is fill out a form and you get paid. One thing to keep in mind about lead gen offers, though, sometimes you'll see ones with like a really high payout, like $30, $40. That's really common in loans and the financial niche. And those seem like they'd be really easy to convert, but a lot of times what the affiliate network doesn't tell you, unless you specifically ask, is what actually has to happen before you get paid out. So in some cases, the user or the customer has to actually say get approved for a loan before you get paid out, or the conversion doesn't happen on the first page of the form. They have to get through like 3 or 4 pages. So I always like to ask that with an affiliate network, like, okay, what has to happen? Does this pay on like first page, or does it pay on closed loan or something like that. Other stuff, lead gen sort of related, would be like games, any kind of quotes, so health insurance, auto insurance, car insurance. I've actually had a lot of luck doing quotes for like home improvement, home repair, so like windows, siding, stuff like that. Kind of more obscure niches that you don't hear a lot about, but they can convert really well. A lot of times those don't have a lot of competition. The timeshare niche is another example that I've done pretty well with. Those offers are a little bit harder to find, but if you can find stuff like that, they can work really well. Another type of niche or offer that works well are trial offers. These are things that you see these all over affiliate networks, like health and skincare and diet. And they're often like, the user pays for a discounted first supply, and then their rebuild, they get a trial of something, then their rebuild. Now these were huge a few years ago, but there was a lot of really shady practices going on with them where people didn't know that they were getting rebuild or they couldn't cancel. So you guys might remember the whole huge FTC thing. They really cracked down on that, and a lot of networks and individual affiliates got in trouble for that. So trial offers are a little bit different these days. Mostly just the disclosures are better, so people actually know they're getting rebuild. That's not important to know, really, but just for a little history there. With trial offers, though, you do have to make sure that any creatives you use are compliant. And what I mean is compliant with the FTC. I'm not a lawyer or anything, so I can't give you specific advice there, but it's best to check with your affiliate manager because they'll probably be able to tell you. The big things are, don't use celebrities and stuff. Don't put like Kim Kardashian on your page with a quote saying, I used this and lost 800 pounds or whatever. That's just dumb, and it's not worth it, for the few $100s or thousands or 10,000s you make. If you get sued, you're going to lose a lot more than that. So trial offers, anything in like health, skincare, diet, those tend to work really well. I often recommend those offers because the payout is higher. They usually pay anywhere between like $35 and $40. So you have a lot more margin to work with. With something like, say, a gaming offer that pays, a couple dollars conversion. You don't have a lot of room to work with that. You have to convert really, really well to make that work or make a profit with it. With trial offers, you don't need as much volume for one to make good money. Like say an offer pays $40 and you only get 3 conversions a day. That's $120 still. So you can spend a lot of money on traffic to get that working and still have a lot of room to play with and optimize. Another niche that works really good pretty much universally across all traffic sources, and PPV is no different, is dating. Dating is a huge niche, but there's also a lot of sub-niches in dating, and that's what I would recommend exploring if you do dating on PPV. So don't just go out and promote like the basic dating offers like Match.com or something. Look for really specific offers like Asian dating or senior dating. There's all kinds of different sub-niches within the dating niche that tend to work really well. Ebooks are another one. I just threw that in there. Stuff like ClickBank can work really well, surprisingly. And really, almost any niche can work with the right approach. You just have to keep in mind that it's interruption marketing, and you have to bridge that gap between the user and the offer. So if someone's not actively searching for your offer, you have to figure out how you're going to get them to stop what they're doing and get interested enough to click and go to whatever you're promoting. Okay, so for traffic sources, there is what I call the big 3, which is traffic advance, lead impact, and 50 on red. These are definitely not the only pop-up or under traffic sources, but they're probably the most well-known, and they have generally the best traffic quality around. So traffic fans is probably the one that most people have heard of. It's a little bit tricky to get in. You have to do a $1,000 deposit, plus you need a referral from an active spender, and I think they classify that as someone who spends at least $50 a day every day. So it's not really hard to get in. You just need that. They are a little strict about what countries they will accept an advertiser from. So a lot of times people get denied for that, and there are ways around that. Usually if you're willing to spend enough or you talk to them enough, they will let you in. But just keep that in mind. They do have really good quality traffic. One of the downsides is that you have to have a separate U.S. and international account. So like you have to spend $1,000 to make a deposit in your U.S. account. Then if you want to advertise in any other country, you need a totally separate account. So you need to deposit $1,000 into your Traffic Fans International account. It's kind of dumb. I don't know why they do that. They have a lot more U.S. traffic than they have international traffic. So if you're looking to do international, Traffic Fans is probably not the first place I would start, and I'll get into where I would start in a minute. Niches that have done really well for me there are lead gen, dating, gaming, skincare, and diet. Those are probably my top, but out of all the top traffic sources, I probably had the most luck on Traffic Fans with kind of every niche, just looking at it from an overview perspective. Not to say that it's the best traffic source, because it's definitely, I don't think there is like a best traffic source. I've had stuff that works really well on Lead Impact and doesn't work at all on Traffic Fans. And sometimes I'll start off testing a campaign, like I'll split test between Lead Impact and Traffic Fans, and Lead Impact does better, or Traffic Fans does better. So really just kind of depends. Lead Impact is next. They require a $1,000 deposit. The cool thing is they have U.S. and international traffic in one account. So you don't need a separate account or anything, and they have really good volume in a lot of countries. In obscure, not obscure, but in countries like smaller European countries, say like, I don't know, Norway or Sweden or something, there's not a whole lot of traffic really, but it is there, and you have the ability to run it from one account, which is really cool. Niches that have worked really well for me in the past are dating, gaming, and quotes. Those continue to do really well. I've had luck doing other stuff like skincare and diet and some of the other niches that I've talked about, but those are the top three performing-wise for me for Lead Impact. 50 on Red is another one that is not quite as well known as Traffic Fans and Lead Impact, but it's probably the third best, maybe even tied for second with Lead Impact. They require a $500 deposit. They have U.S. and international traffic, and they have some interesting stuff because you can do pop-ups, pop-unders. They have text ads. You can do a lot of different types of advertising, that kind of fit within the PPV advertising space. So that's pretty cool. The niches that work there for me are skincare and diet. If you're just starting out, I think 50 on Red is a good place just because of the deposit. I used to say Lead Impact because they only required a $500 deposit, but they've since changed that. So if you have $1,000 now, you might as well just go with Traffic Fans, not because it's a million times better than the other ones, but just because the quality is pretty good. It's probably better than Lead Impact overall. So if you're going to spend $1,000, you might as well just go with Traffic Fans. There are some other traffic sources that you might have heard of, like media traffic, ClickSource. There's a bunch of different ones. Direct CPV. I usually don't recommend these because the traffic quality is lower. It's not as good as the big three that I'm mentioning here. But for every traffic source that I say has bad quality traffic, I know at least a few affiliates that are doing really well there. So it's not that those traffic sources don't work at all and you'll never be profitable there. It's just that your chances of success are probably better if you start off with one of these three here. Okay, so landing pages. Direct linking can work with PPV, but really I usually suggest using a landing page. You just have a lot more control over what you're doing, what you're promoting. You can pre-sell something a lot more. Sometimes the offer page might not be very good, and you can kind of bridge that gap and pre-sell it and make an offer that wouldn't convert direct linking convert by using a landing page. I know people that do really, really well with direct linking. Me personally, I almost always do better with a landing page, so that's why I suggest it. And at the minimum, I would suggest just starting your campaign split testing between a landing page and a direct link. That'll give you an idea, what direction to go in. Like, hey, is a landing page going to be better, or is direct linking going to be better? You really don't know. There's no way to tell, like, yeah, this is definitely going to be better with a landing page. Simple, ugly landing pages work best. Really, you don't want to make some beautiful website or hire a designer. Some of my best converting landing pages you would totally laugh at. I mean, they look like I hacked them together using Paint or something. I mean, it's just hilarious what works good, but it really does. The landing page dimensions, you hear this talked about a lot. So when your ad or your landing page is popped up in a window served by, say, Traffic Advance or Lead Impact, it pops up in specific dimensions like 800 by 600 or 750 by 550, and a lot of people really worry about that. It really doesn't matter a whole lot what dimension your landing page is. People will scroll. So don't worry too much about, like, my whole landing page has to fit in this exact window. I've done a lot of testing with that and spent a lot of money figuring out if that matters or not, and it really doesn't. So as long as you can see something interesting in the landing page window, it's totally fine. You also have to remember that even though, say, Traffic Advance serves at 800 by 600, people have different toolbars installed in their browser, so their actual viewing size is going to be different. It's going to be different for every browser, so that's another reason that I don't worry about it too much. This is an example of a basic landing page. This is sort of my go-to basic landing page. This is just a template. We have a landing page builder inside the forum, and this is one of the templates from it. So this formula, kind of the headline, subheadline, picture on the left, bullet points on the right, and then your call to action button, that's kind of my go-to basic landing page, and this one works really, really well. You don't need a lot of text on the landing page for PPV, and in fact you don't want a lot. Again, this is interruption marketing, and people have, especially these days, people have such short attention spans. You really just want to hit them with something very basic that they can see, a few reasons why they would want to click through, and then just get them to click through. That's the basic goal of a PPV landing page. You don't want to do some big, long sales page or long-form sales letter type landing page, because those really aren't going to work too well. Another reason that I use this layout here, I almost always have my call to action somewhere towards the bottom right of the page, and that's because if you think about it, we read from left to right, top to bottom, and that's what you want to kind of follow in your landing pages. This is good for really any traffic source, not just PPV. But if I start, at the top left here, I have a headline and then subheadline and the picture and this, and then your eyes end up on the call to action. So that's the last thing that people kind of see, and then they've scanned what they want to and they're ready to click or not. If you put say the call to action over here or somewhere else, people have to read and they have to either go back up or back over for the call to action. And I found that actually, in most cases, decreases the click-through rate a little bit. Sometimes it's a really huge effect, sometimes it is minimal effect, but just as an overall, that's kind of a tip that I use when making landing pages. This is an example of a coupon landing page, and this is something, another style that I use a lot. You see it basically looks just like a coupon. The top here, the headline, online coupon for website.com. That's where you would stick in whatever target you were bidding on. So say I was bidding on a dating site like Match.com. This would say online coupon for Match.com, and that would be dynamically inserted, and that's really easy to do if you're using a tracking program like Prosper or CPV Lab, and I'll talk about those in a few more slides. But the basic premise of this landing page is to look like a special deal, basically, that you're offering some kind of incentive for them to sign up. It can work really well, especially if you use any kind of scarcity tactic, like we have 6 deals remaining on, and then you can insert today's date, and you can do that with some code too. If you guys want to know about that, feel free to ask and I can show you. The other type of landing page that I use, and I probably use this the most out of anything, is what I call the screenshot method. I'm sure that people have done this before, I don't know, but when I started doing it, I had never seen anyone do it, so I'm not saying I invented it or anything, but I might have popularized it. The basic idea with this is you take an offer page. This is just a offer page, like an auto warranty page, right? So this is the offer page, and then this is my landing page. So all I'm doing, let me go back here a second, is I take a screenshot of this page. You can use any kind of tool like this. You can use the Windows snipping tool. Jing is another one to take a screenshot. And you just take a screenshot of the offer page here. And then whatever form they have here, you're just going to blank out and put your own text there, and you can leave the call to action or change it. So it ends up like this. Just go back one more time. So I just opened this in Photoshop, or you can use whatever, Pixlr or Paint or GIMP or anything. And I just erase the form here, and then I put some of my own text. So a few bullet points, maybe a short selling point, and that's it. And the whole page then, this is just one image, and it's just, this is all linked. So it's just one image that's linked. So wherever they click here, whoops, wherever they click here, I click, see, is going to take them to the offer. This works really, really well. And people often say, like, well, why does this work if, you're basically just showing them the offer page? Well, it's because you're giving them like a really easy way to convert, or actually to click onto the offer page. So if you hit them with this, if I hit this page, I'd be like, oh man, I gotta, get out my address and phone number, and I gotta enter all this and stuff, and it seems like a lot more work than if I just see this and I go, oh, well, that looks kind of interesting. I don't have to do anything, so I'm just going to click here and see. So it's a way of easing them into the offer. What I found is if you can get people to click on your landing page, you've sort of done the hardest thing, which is to get them engaging and clicking. Once they do that, they're already somewhat invested in the offer, and it's a lot easier to get them to, say, fill out a form or click download or something if they're already clicking and engaging. So that's sort of the why of the screenshot method. Now this doesn't work for every offer page. Some offer pages are like weird dimensions, or they don't have the form laid out right. So it's not going to work for every single page or type of niche, but it is really effective when it works, and it's super easy to make. You know, you can do this in like 5 minutes or less, really. Okay, so basic campaign setup. I'm just going to run through this really quick, and then if you have any questions about this, you can ask. So this is how I set up a basic campaign. This is really what I use for most of the campaigns that I test initially. So pick an offer from a recommended niche, the niches that I talked about earlier. Then what you're going to do, I'm going to pull up here. So then I'm going to go to Google, and I'm going to type in, I'm going to do this for 3 or 4 keywords related to my niche. So in this example, I'm just going to type in skincare. Can you guys see this okay? Hopefully. And then what I'm going to do is take the URLs from the organic listings, which these are the organic listings, and the paid AdWords ads, so these right here. And you can just open something like Notepad. This is Notepad++, and all I'm going to do here is just copy these URLs. I only want the domain name .com, and I'm just going to put all these in a text file here. Now, I recommend doing it this way. There are tools that you can automate this with, but I recommend at least like the first 5 to 10 campaigns you make, doing them by hand this way, so you can get an idea like what the tools are actually doing when you use them. They'll be a lot more effective. So I would just do that for the first, 1 to 2 pages of Google, the organic listings and the paid ads. And then you can search for other keywords related, like skincare products, and do the same thing. Do that for 3 or 4 keywords. You will get a lot of duplicates. That's fine. You can delete those. You can use Excel to remove any duplicates or anything, any method you want. One thing to keep in mind, though, about when you do this is you want to make sure the domains are related to your offer. So, for example, here, Amazon. This might be about some skincare product, but I don't want to bid on Amazon.com because that alone has nothing to do with skincare. So you want to, like Neutrogena is another one. I guess that's related to skincare, but looking for another example here. You'll see things like here's Amazon WebMD here. This is another one. So you wouldn't want to bid on WebMD. That's too general. So only QVC, that's too general also. So really only just take domains that are directly related to skincare products. Walgreens is not, that's too broad. Sephora is, Skin Store, and some of these, if you don't know, just click on the link and visit it, and see, is this actually, a skincare product site. So what you're going to do is collect 20 to 50 targets this way. So just go through until you have about 20 to 50 targets. The actual number doesn't matter too much. You just want like somewhere in that range. You can do more, but the more targets you do, the harder it is to sort of manage and optimize. So I recommend just starting out with 20 to 50. Then you're going to create a landing page in one of the methods that I outlined, or if you have another template you want to use, that's fine too. Then you're going to set up the campaign in Prosper, CPV Lab, or Volume. Those are 3 different trackers that are all totally fine for pay-per-view marketing. Out of those, I would probably say that CPV Lab is the easiest to use. It is paid. Prosper is free, and it's totally fine to use. You can use that. You have to do a little bit of tweaking to do certain things that are just built into like CPV Lab by default. So that's why I kind of recommend that one, but it's definitely not needed. I mean, affiliates have made millions of dollars with Prosper, before CPV Lab or Volume or any other tracker ever came around. And actually, affiliates, made money before Prosper was even around. So it's not, you don't feel like you have to go out and spend money for CPV Lab. It's just, at some point, it's something to invest in. It's good investment. And then set up your campaigns so you're split testing your landing page versus the direct link to the campaign, 50-50. So half your traffic going to the LP and half going to direct link. And that's going to give you an idea like, okay, what's working here is the direct link or the landing page. And then you can, if the direct link's working better, you can kill the landing page. Or if the landing page is working better, you could split test, you drop the direct link and split test another totally different landing page and see which one works best. Keep it simple to start, just one traffic source, one country. There's no need, you don't really have to launch a campaign on every traffic source, especially if you're just starting out. It's really important to keep it simple. With bidding, you want to bid into position 1 to 3. On Traffic Fans, it's not going to show you the exact position, but it will tell you if your bid is good or not, and give you an indication of if you need to raise it. It's important because those positions are going to get the majority of the traffic. You will get some traffic at lower positions, but it's going to be like significantly less. I don't worry too much about what I have to bid to get into position 1 to 3. I just set my daily budget low to control spend initially. So set your daily budget to $10 or something, and then no matter what you're bidding or what eats like your whole budget, you still have you're not blowing hundreds of dollars a day without recognizing it. And then once you have that launch, spend about $25 before you touch anything. Now, this isn't set in stone. You don't have to follow this exactly, but you don't want to spend $5 and then say it's not working and change a bunch of things, because if you do that, you'll never know what's working. So 25 is just kind of a reminder to spend somewhere around that. Just let it run no matter what before you do anything. Then once you've spent about $25, $30 or so, look to see if you have any targets that have used your whole budget. So like if you have, say, 50 targets that you're bidding on, if one of them has spent the whole $25, especially if it doesn't have conversions, you probably want to pause that just to let your other targets get some traffic. So just to kind of balance it out. You don't want to be spending all your money on one target, especially if it's not converting. Then look from then on. It's likely that you're going to have to spend more than $25. It's not like you're going to know if a campaign is working or not within 25. It's just you want to spend that kind of like before moving on. Then pause targets that have spent about, say, $3 to $4 to offer payout with no conversions. Hold on, let me get a drink here. And then what you're looking for is consistent conversions, and that means like more than 1 to 2. So I don't mean like, if you have one conversion, it's great and keep running it or anything. But if you have, say you have an offer that you spent $50 on and you've only made like $15 back, but that's, I don't know, 5 conversions, 6 conversions. Even though you're not profitable, that offer still definitely has potential because it's converting. So you're probably not going to be profitable right away, so don't expect that. Sometimes you'll break even, and that's actually really good. But as long as you're converting consistently, that's really what you're looking for. if an offer is converting, you can make it work. It's just a matter of tweaking your bids, either raising or lowering them, or split testing the offer on another network, doing stuff like that, split testing new landing pages. Basically, if it's converting, there's a really good chance that you can make it work. You just have to stick with it long enough to where you can optimize it to profitability. And that brings me into scaling. So when you find an offer that is working, there's a few really easy things you can do to scale it. This is a really cool thing about PPV traffic is it's fairly easy to scale. The first thing is to duplicate your campaign, and this means that you just basically make another campaign exactly like it and launch it on the same traffic source. Basically everything is the exact same. The reason you do this is because it takes up more of the ad spots. So you can take up like position 1, position 2, etc., etc. You can also move it to another traffic source. So if you're running on traffic vans, you can move to lead impact or vice versa. You can split test the offer between different affiliate networks. Sometimes you'll get a better payout at one, or sometimes one will convert better on one or the other. You can ask your AM for a pay bump. That's a really good and easy way to scale a campaign. Just a small pay bump can often get you profitable sometimes. And then you can adjust bids up or down. Sometimes bidding higher will result in higher ROI, and sometimes lowering your bid will result in higher ROI. That's kind of the basics that it really doesn't matter what you're bidding. It just matters how much money you're taking home at the end of the day, right? So that's pretty much it. There is other stuff that you can do with PPV traffic. It's really good for building an email list, and the same concepts here still apply. It's just you're building a list, so you can stick a opt-in form on your landing page, whether you're using the coupon landing page or just the basic landing page, and collect email addresses. The cool thing about doing that is that you can then email out offers that might not accept PPV traffic, or you can get into offers that only accept email traffic, stuff like that. So it's a really cool way to kind of leverage and utilize PPV traffic to be able to promote a wide variety of things. You can even email stuff like Amazon or CJ or LinkShare, offers and stuff that you couldn't direct link on PPV traffic because they might not allow it. So I think that's kind of about it. I know Mike wanted to leave time for questions, and I probably talked too much. So
No, that was great, David. Thanks for running through that. It's really interesting to kind of see the insight there, and I can see why you sort of put this out there as a good opportunity for someone who's getting started in affiliate marketing, because there's not really too many barriers to entry, right? You don't have to be a designer to create those landing pages. You can test a bunch of different things and not have a crazy budget. You can kind of start small and scale up. So I think there's a really good opportunity there for publishers to get started here and at least test it and try it. So I've got some questions coming in, but before we kind of jump to those, there were a couple things that I wanted to kind of ask about as well.
Sure.
You mentioned where to buy traffic. A couple of people actually asked about ZeroPark or Media Hub. Have you heard of these ones, and do you know if they're decent?
Yeah, so ZeroPark is domain traffic, and that's where basically you're getting traffic from, say, like expired domains or that kind of nature. ZeroPark, it's really easy to use. It's quite different than other types of traffic like PPV or search or something. It's pretty hard to make profitable, but there's a ton of traffic there. So if you're looking to, just get into domain traffic, that's a really good place to start. Just keep in mind that it's a lot different than other forms of traffic that you might be using. It's just really cheap, low-quality traffic, basically.
Right, right. Okay, and on that kind of is for traffic plans, do you still need a referral to get in?
You, yeah, you do. You need someone to refer you that is spending at least $50 a day, I think for like the last 30 days or something they say. So there's usually, like if you ask your AM, they'll be able to give you a referral. A lot of the networks have either the networks, run themselves or, or the AM does themselves. They're
Hmm.
usually a good place to refer.
Right,
Or
right.
a
Okay.
person.
And then how do you build your landing pages? Like I like that. I really like that screenshot method. I think that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
How are you building? Are you just hand coding these, or do you have a system that you use?
Well, basically, like for the screenshot method, I just take the image and then I'll just open up any editor. I use Dreamweaver just because that's what I'm used to, but
Hmm.
you definitely don't need that. It's way overkill. You can just use what are some free ones like Composer, uh, Kompozer,
Hmm.
or like Coffee Cup Editor, Sublime Text, really anything. You can even use like Notepad.
Hmm.
Just create a new HTML file, stick the image in there, which the image is basically your landing page. Link that using your affiliate link or the link that like Prosper CPV Live gives you, and that's pretty much it.
Hmm.
So
Okay, so it doesn't take anything too complex to build these.
no, not really. Just a basic. I mean, you don't even need a editor. You could just Google, um, HTML page, and you can open that in like Notepad,
Right,
and
and then
just if
edit
you
it.
know how to stick the image, yeah.
Cool. Okay. And do any of the traffic sources still allow sound on the landing page? And is that an
They
effective?
do.
Is it effective?
Yeah, it is effective. If you go that route, don't use computer-generated voices. A lot of people do that, and
Mm.
because it's cheaper, they can use like text-to-speech. But real voice actually converts way, way better. A good source to find those is Fiverr.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, no, that's
So for $5 you can get a few made, and yeah, they can work really well. And women's voices tend to work a lot better than men's voices for whatever reason. I
right.
just found that through testing. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Just a couple other quick questions from me, and then we'll get on to everyone else's questions. But
Sure.
you showed kind of how to generate URLs. Is there like a scraper or URL generator that you use, or is there one that you know of?
There is. Well, in the forum we have a bunch of different scrapers and stuff.
Okay.
I actually have a free just desktop-based scraper that I need to get finished up, and I'm going to release it on my blog. So you could check out AffPlayBook.com/blog, and I'll try to post that soon.
Cool.
There might be free scrapers out there. I don't know,
Okay.
honestly, off the top of my head. Yeah.
Yeah, and with PPV, as you're getting more traffic to your landing pages, is it required to have, obviously you need like a server, but how important is it to have a really good server, and where would you buy that?
Yeah, sorry, I should have talked about that. So if you're going to do PPV or really any type of paid traffic, you don't want a shared server. It's the load is too great to be able to handle that. So I'd recommend just a basic VPS should cover you, and that should actually take you really, really far. And then at some point you can upgrade to a dedicated, but that would be when, I mean, you'd be spending like thousands or tens of thousands per day before you, would need that point. So really just a basic VPS is a great place to start. Beyond Hosting, WiredTree, any reputable provider you can ask around. I know there's some others that people use, but those are the ones that I have experience with. So
Right. Okay.
yeah.
All right. So let's get
So
on to some of the other questions that were asked. Um, so here's a question. Do you know Any ways of getting downloads approved by traffic sources? For example, I have an offer that has whitelisted all adware. How would I go about getting that approved to run on CPV?
Um, an offer that's whitelisted all adware. So like the offer lets you promote through adware or something.
I assume.
Well, yeah, the problem isn't with that, it's with the traffic sources, obviously, and you really just can't without like cloaking or doing something shady, which isn't something like I really teach or endorse. But if just from an educational standpoint, if you want to know how people are doing it, that's how they're doing it. You are likely to get your account banned that way. They actively monitor for that stuff, so I recommend finding other traffic sources if you really want to do those kind of downloads.
Sure, yeah. Uh, Starting with PPV, which niche is best? I know you kind of went over this, but maybe you could give your recommendation for sort of the top one to start with.
Yeah, that's really hard. I would say, you know, if you said, okay, you have to pick like one niche to start, I would just grab a lead generation, something that's pays out between like $10 to $12. So take like auto insurance, health insurance, home insurance, take one of those and run it. But understand that there really is no one best, niche to start out with.
Yeah, for sure. And then here's a question. Someone has purchased Gohar Chaudhry's, I'm not sure how to say his name, but his PPV Sumo course for access to his PPV Dominator campaign tracker software. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but they're just wondering if that's a good product or not.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't have any experience with that. I haven't heard of anybody using it, so I don't know. I can't say one way or the other.
Okay, and then we had quite a few questions, just sort of people asking about pay-per-call and PPV. And for me, I wanted this webinar to be about PPV and sort of the opportunity of PPV and sort of present it and let publishers take that and do what they may with it, whether it's pay-per-call or not, but sort of figure out how this applies to any campaign, whether it's pay-per-call, lead gen, or some other product. But maybe you could talk a little bit about PPV and pay-per-call and how you see that working.
Yeah, so I mean, you can definitely make that work. I've done a little bit of that before. I know people that have done way more than I have, so it's definitely a viable combination, and I'd say it's one of the few kind of like unsaturated niches or areas out there. There's not a ton of people doing PPV, pay-per-call on PPV, lots of P's. So I would say it's a really great opportunity. It's really unique because you're basically, the way you do it is basically pop a landing page with like the phone number on it. You can't really there are mobile pop-up traffic sources. I didn't talk about those here, but PPV, this is desktop traffic, so basically, people are having to like pull out their phone and call. It's not click to call or anything like that, but people are doing that, especially offers that are targeted to, I wouldn't say like an older generation, but people who are still like using desktops to browse and picking up the phone to make calls. I always use my mom as an example. Like, I don't think she would know like click to call or be able to do that. But if she saw like a landing page with like, okay, call this for like to get car insurance quote, that's something she's totally familiar with. I mean, that's what she's used to doing. So it's definitely a viable combination to do, and I think there's really a lot of potential there.
Yeah, and we see that too. And so one of the things that we see a lot of publishers doing with success on PPV is promoting tech support. And so they're popping pages, and there's nothing too tricky about it. It's very similar to the pages that you're using. And usually what those pages say is something like your computer could be infected, or you could be having this type of issue. And we really want those pages to be more compliant because they end up working out better for, it's really important that they work out for the end advertiser. We don't want to just send calls. We want to send good calls that they can sell to. So we don't want to scare the user too much. We don't want to pop an error message or claim that they do have viruses. We just want to say, your computer may be infected, and then get them on the phone and get them qualified. And so that's really what's working as far as PPV and pay-per-call go. We would love to see more testing on some of the other verticals like legal and auto insurance, and potentially even, if you've got a campaign that's already running, let's put a phone number on there and see if you can get calls from it as well. So we'd like to see more of that happening. We see a little bit, but definitely PPV and tech support for pay-per-call works well. And it's, very much on the same networks that you've mentioned: Traffic Vance, Lead Impact, 50 on Red, talked about Zero Park. Those are the sources of traffic as well. So, so there's definitely an opportunity there, and I think there's even more opportunity for publishers to just take what they've learned today and try some new things as well.
Yeah, for sure. I'll just say one thing about the quality thing you mentioned, because that's important. I feel like it's always walked this line between like getting lots of click-throughs and conversions and staying compliant. I mean, if you do the your computer's infected thing, yeah, you might get more calls and conversions, but it doesn't matter if you get kicked off the offer in a week. So you have to walk that fine line of getting calls or conversions or clicks with staying on the offer. Like with dating, a lot of people do like free chat, hot girls in your area 0.1 mile away ready to whatever. So, that gets a lot of clicks, obviously, and a lot of people signing up for free dating offers, but when they actually sign up to the site and learn that there's no free chat, or they have to pay to, view profiles or something, they don't end up converting. They don't for the advertiser. So the advertiser isn't getting, what they want out of the campaign, and so, they tell the affiliate network, hey, shut off this advertiser. Like, none of his leads are converting into sales for us. So got to balance that, and figure out how you can stay on the offer. That's really the name of the game, is just being able to stay compliant and staying on the offer.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is we want long-term campaigns, and I think publishers should as well. They want campaigns that'll run for quite a while. So making sure those pages are compliant, and you don't want to necessarily scare people into calling or taking action on an offer, but if you could present that opportunity to them in some way, and you are interrupting, so you do have to kind of grab their attention, alert them to something, but hopefully we don't scare them into doing something that they actually don't want to do. So I'll just kind of keep moving on through. There's a few more questions here.
Sure.
A lot of people asking about a replay. We will definitely be replaying this. We'll share it on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/RingPartner, and our blog, ringpartner.com/blog. And we'll likely post it in the AffPlayBook forum as well, so you can watch for it there.
It costs $9.95 to watch each replay, though.
Are you serious?
No.
Okay. I wasn't sure. So, but yeah, we'll definitely have it out there for everyone to see. And if you don't get it, feel free to email me at mike@ringpartner.com, and I'll make sure you get it. So next question, in what network can we adjust on which operating systems we need to show the ads? Are you aware of being able to do that?
You can't do that on any of the networks that I mentioned. That would be more like probably if you did some kind of mobile traffic source pop-up, you'd be able to specify like operating system. On these, it's Windows-based computers.
Right.
Mostly. I don't think there's any that show on Mac, but I could be wrong about that. But yeah, so these are just Windows-based computers. Operating system, you can't specify that. It doesn't really matter though, because you're just promoting desktop offers. So as long as they have a browser, they can convert on whatever offer you're promoting, basically.
Right. Okay. Cool. Next question. How can we spy on our competitors? And I like how they worded this, to get inspiration on what kind of offers people are doing for PPV. So
yeah, that's a good word.
And what kind of landing pages. Basically just get a view into some competitor landing pages and campaigns. I don't know if you're familiar with anything that currently does that.
Yeah, so there's a few options. Probably the easiest and cheapest way would be to download the adware yourself and then just start, surfing the net, and you'll see pop-ups. You probably don't want to do this on your actual work computer, because the adware can be a little annoying to uninstall sometimes. So you can either do it on like an old cheap laptop, or you can get like a Windows VPS and install it on that.
Okay.
That's the easiest, cheapest. The other methods are like inside the form. I don't want to sound like I'm plugging the form or anything, but we have couple spy tools that let you do that. There's also boxofads.com. I think they might even have a free trial that you can try, and that's a spy service. But what you said about getting inspiration, that's actually a good point. A lot of people want to spy, and I encourage it, but you're really not going to see anything too groundbreaking. I mean, I remember when I first started spying, I was like, oh, is this is it? You know, I expected to see something like some great secret thing that people were doing, and it was really nothing. It was just a lot of direct linking or a lot of basic landing pages like I'm showing, and that's usually the reaction people have when they start spying. They get this all set up, or they buy a tool or something, and they're like, oh. So, but it's important to know that, you know, there is no great big secret thing that you're doing out there. So sometimes it's valuable just for that confirmation, like, hey, yeah, I'm, you know, headed in the right direction or whatever.
Yeah, and I think that you've done a good job of explaining sort of the overview of pay-per-view. And then I think it's really, again, up to the publishers to kind of, you know, find those opportunities, find those URLs, find the, you know, slight tweaks on a landing page that really make all the difference in a successful or profitable campaign. So I think that, you know, there's an opportunity here, and it's up to the publishers to take it to the next level and figure out how it works.
Yeah. For sure.
And then I got another question here. Can we run pay-per-call offer on PPV? So I'll just answer that. You can, if you're logged into RingPartner, you'll see it'll say whether software is allowed. If it's allowed, then yes, you can run PPV. So it is important to reach out to your distribution manager here at RingPartner and confirm that and make sure that it is okay. But if it says software is allowed, then you should be good to do that. Next question. Oh, this is actually a statement. Someone is saying that PPV Dominator is a very good software. So that answers that question. Next question. Okay. How do I know which ad-aware traffic source is using? Oh, how do I know which ad-awares a traffic source is using so one could try to download them and see what happens? I think that's like for traffic bans, you download game bans, but some of the pop networks, you don't always know what they're using, right?
That's true, yeah. All the networks have a few different installations, and they change a lot. Lead impact, let's see. The last one I heard about was moviefather.com. I'm trying to remember. They've changed around a little bit. If you guys want to email me, I know that we've talked about this in the forum before, but if you just want to email me, david@affplaybook.com, I'll look up what they are and send them to you. You can also usually ask the traffic source, and they'll at least give you a couple that, you know, you can use to get started spying.
Perfect.
50 on red, they won't tell you. They're like, they keep that secret, so.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I guess it makes sense, but
yeah.
It's interesting to kind of not know where you're advertising.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so we'll just run through a couple more questions and then we'll kind of close it up. And then if anybody has any further questions, feel free to email me at mike@ringpartner.com and try to get those answered for you. Let's see. Can we set up, you kind of talked about this, can we set up traffic only for designated mobile devices? And I think that the ones you talked about are all desktop specific, but there are mobile POP networks, correct?
There are, yeah. So you could search for that, but yeah, these like traffic vans and lead impact, that's just desktop traffic.
Right. Okay. So do you know of any good ones out there for mobile or?
Good ones. Not off the top of my head. I'll think about that.
Okay.
If you guys want to email me, yeah, they're often not called like pop up or pop under. They're called, I always can't say this word right.
Interstitial.
Interstitial, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So interstitial is basically when it's like a full page ad. I guess it's kind of like a pop-up because it basically is like a window over everything. You can do those on a lot of different networks, including like Google, and basically anywhere you would run. A lot of places you would run offer that. So that's probably the term you want to look for when you're searching out for like mobile stuff.
Yeah, right. Okay.
The screen's not really big enough to have like a small
Like a pop. Yeah. Okay. Here's a question just about traffic advance referrals. They're asking, how to get them, and you kind of mentioned, asking your affiliate manager usually helps. I think another way is to kind of befriend someone in like the AffPlayBook forum, if you get active in there, or ask your network, ask people in the affiliate space if they know someone, and you can usually get a referral. I don't know if you have anything further to add there.
Yeah, and keep in mind, I mean, don't just like pop on a forum and have your first post be like, hey, who can give me a referral? Because with traffic vans, they're really strict about who they let in and stuff. And say like I refer someone, my referrals reflect back on me.
Yeah.
So if I refer someone and they're doing like cloaking and a bunch of shady crap, my account could be in jeopardy from that.
Yeah.
So I actually don't do referrals myself just because I have way too many people contacting me, and it's hard to pick like, okay, do I know this person enough and do I not? So
Right.
I just have a policy that I don't give them, but your affiliate manager, that's really probably your best bet. Or yeah, like Mike said, I mean, make friends in the industry. If you join any forum or go to events or something, meet people and talk to people and become friends with them. Don't just go in with hey, can you do this for me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. We got another question here. So we got two more. I'll just wrap up with these two. Might be late to the convo. Can you review what differentiates PPV from other models when it comes to performance? So I think someone's just looking for the potential quality that you see from PPV.
Gosh, it depends. It depends on the niche, really. Sometimes PPV can be lower quality, but that usually goes back to the way that people are advertising it. So again, like Mike was saying about the tech support, don't say like, hey, your computer's infected with this virus, call this number now, because that's going to lead to bad quality. And that's usually what people do with PPV, because stuff like that, I mean, I'm not going to lie, it can work really well initially, but 9 times out of 10 you're going to get like kicked off the offer or something. So PPV can have just as good a quality traffic as anything, as long as you're upfront about, what you're advertising. And that basically just means whatever you say on your landing page should be what the user can expect when they get to the offer. So don't advertise free if they have to sign up for something. Don't advertise that their computer's infected if it's really not. A better way to go about that would be like, make sure your computer doesn't get affected. Call this number, something like that.
Right. Yeah, no, it's definitely, sometimes it's about the landing page, or a certain word will initiate certain calls or certain, lead form entries. So it really does depend on, how that traffic ends up working out based on the creatives used and the messaging. So we'll just wrap up with this last question here. Someone asking about scaling. So they've asked, when you scale up a campaign from something like traffic bounce to lead impact, do you keep the same targets for both traffic networks, or do you try something else, or do you expand from there?
Yeah, that's a good question. Usually I'll say like, I have a campaign that's running really good on traffic vans. I'll usually just kind of start it over on lead impact. So I might have paused targets on traffic vans or whatever, but I'll just basically start the campaign new with the exact same targets on lead impact. Because like I said, some targets will work really great on traffic vans and some will work really good on lead impact, and there isn't really a direct reason that you can figure out for it, like, oh, this is definitely going to work for here and not here. So yeah, you really just have to test it. They're different traffic networks, and offer and targets will perform differently on each one. So it's definitely worth testing them again on another traffic source.
Yeah, and I think that's important to really keep that testing in mind, right? Like test just about anything. Use the tools and techniques that you presented here today, and then be willing to try some new stuff, testing a few variables here and there. And when you're trying to scale, start with the sources work on another one, and just hope that they'll work out. Don't assume that they will. But that will wrap things up for today. I really want to thank David for this presentation. I think it's been really insightful, and there's some really great tips here. And I'm looking forward to hearing more questions about from publishers about PPV and pay-per-call as well. So thanks again for that. Be sure to follow RingPartner on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. It's just at RingPartner. We're also on YouTube, where you'll be able to find the recording of this webinar, and check us out on our blog. And thanks for everyone for joining us today, and hopefully you've learned something new. And David, maybe you want to take a chance to mention AffPlayBook and some of your social media as well.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on first. I appreciate the opportunity, and hopefully it was educational to you guys. If you guys have any quick questions, feel free to email me, david@affplaybook.com. If I don't respond right away, it's just because I get a lot of emails, but I definitely will get back to you. You can check out my blog. It's affplaybook.com/blog, and then, of course, the forum, AffPlaybook.com. We also have a Facebook group. You can search for that, and I think that's the main places. Yeah.
And we've been pretty active in the last about month or so on AffPlaybook, and we've definitely seen a big pickup in pay-per-call discussions on there too, which is really cool to see. And you've got the pay-per-call contest, so if people want to check out AffPlaybook, get involved in that. But I saw a lot of posts for people sharing, what they're doing and what they're testing for pay-per-call, and what they're trying to do. So there's a lot of great information to learn about pay-per-call and pay-per-view and many other online marketing, affiliate marketing techniques and things that people are trying. So definitely check out affplaybook.com and sign up if you want to take a better look at things. So, but thanks everyone. I think we're running a bit over time, but I think there was some really great info there. Again, watch for the replay, and reach out to either of us if you need anything. So thanks a lot, and we will see you soon.
All right, thanks.